We'll talk about the mayor's race in Leeds and Center Point, and the city of Clay reduces property taxes. Tribune Unscripted starts now. Welcome everybody. It's Thursday. Thanks for joining us for Tribune Unscripted. I'm Brandon Dawkins with Tribune Digital Media, here with Scott Buttram, publisher of the Trussville Tribune. And we did have, it's been a lot of news this week, but we are going to start with those, even though that was Tuesday. We want to talk about those election results from the runoffs in the mayor's race for the city of Leeds and in the city of Center Point. Because those were important races.
Very important races, two important communities in our coverage area. I went over to Leeds on election night and was there when they posted the numbers. And Eddie Moore won the runoff over Councilman Washington. Ms. Rose won the runoff in the council race.
I saw that.
So,
yep.
And we were, I think we were impressed with both of those candidates during the forums. And then a big final out in Center Point, where Mayor
I really
Scott
didn't know
himself.
which way that one was going to go either.
It was a tight race.
With
and
two really great people.
Well, she was the council president.
Right.
So you had two serious leaders in the city.
Yes.
It was a very close race. Ultimately, voters decided to send Mayor Scott back for another term. I hate that they're losing a good council person.
I do too.
You know,
I felt like that in a couple of different races through the whole event this summer, but that is when,
we went through that in Trussville.
I know,
when Lisa Bright and Ben Short ran against each other.
You knew you were going to lose one.
Yeah, and you also knew those were two of your best young council people coming up.
Right.
Fortunately, Councilor Anderson ran again, so she'll be back. But we lose Councilor Bright,
that's right,
who was a big benefit.
And so now Center Point loses DM Collins, and so Mayor Bobby Scott, he really, he 49% of the vote.
He has. Now this will be interesting. We did hear a very strong outcry from Center Point citizens and candidates. Citizens are done with this crime.
They are.
They are ready for something major moving forward. Mayor Scott has not been a proponent of a police department or expanding deputy coverage.
But he has done some other things.
He's done some other things.
And so I think it's going to be interesting to watch to see what he does now.
I feel like he'll be responsive to the people.
Me too. Me too.
His personality strikes me as a guy that will listen, even if he may not be in a full agreement. I think he'll move towards trying to give the citizens more of what they're looking for in that respect.
And back to Leeds, you lose a longtime council person in Mr. Washington.
You do. You do.
But
and beloved in that city, by the way.
Yes. So.
But I'm very impressed with the mayor-elect. Mayor-elect Moore. I think he will make a wonderful presentation for the city of Leeds. You know, a lot of being mayor is dealing with businesses that want to come in, dealing with CEOs, vice presidents, marketing people. You just get the feeling that's going to kind of be in Eddie's wheelhouse.
Yes.
I think, again, he'll be a great representative for the city.
And I think his son is, I told you before the show, I had not put it together, but he was with him here the night of the forum, and he's the lead superintendent.
Someone had told me that Eddie had been the first superintendent, but I don't think that's correct. But I do know John is the current superintendent.
And so, anyway, and he looked familiar when he was here that night, but I could not figure out why.
Well, I have not asked this question, but we covered it. When the schools went to the city council and requested some money to make some improvements, just need some help with the
right.
And they needed these improvements to be competitive in the field, in the area where they play. And the council and the mayor turned them down. Now, you and I heaped a little shame on the council for that, and they ended up reversing that and coming back and making the contribution that the schools needed. I want to know, and I will ask Eddie at some point because we're going to have him up here as soon as we can, if that incident motivated him at all. You know, his son's a superintendent.
Maybe
and if he sees the city not supporting the schools the way he thinks they should be, as a Leeds resident, he may have said, well,
and he's been there,
the bull by the horn.
A long time. My brother-in-law is from Leeds, and we joked about how Eddie Moore, I think coached him as a kid in sports, and he's just a longtime Leeds person. So
he is, and he and his wife both love the city. And
yeah. He was in here in his green jacket.
Yeah.
Serious.
Oh, he had the green and white striped tie. I mean, he was ready.
He is green wave all the way.
I absolutely love it. But I got to say, Brandon, we went through all these forums with all 9 cities, and there's exceptions to every rule, which no reason to bring that up. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with the voters in the Tribune coverage area. I think a lot of good decisions were made.
I do too.
These campaigns.
I do too. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's turn our attention to Clay, where a new mayor is getting ready to take the reins, so to speak. But a pretty action-packed meeting in Clay this week as outgoing mayor Charles Webster and his current council approve a recommendation 5-1 to rescind $5 mils of their property tax.
No.
I literally don't think I've ever seen this happen.
Well,
so what in the world?
Let me just
say.
So
you knew some history on it that I didn't know, but
our job, you and I, of covering local government, we got the best job in the world because there's no government like local government. I enjoy it.
Fun,
we had 2 events happen in the Clay City Council meeting this week that were of note.
Yes.
One is we covered this pretty extensively. The council had previously disbanded the library board,
right,
which was a topic of conversation. The mayor-elect
and I think instigated Jane Anderson, incoming mayor, her run.
Oh well, she was the chairman of the library board.
So everybody in Clay knows that.
No doubt that certainly motivated her to run for mayor, which she won that election. And so last night, night before last, Tuesday night, the Clay Council reconstituted the library board and went ahead and appointed board members. Which she
had told us she was going to do.
Would have done, no doubt. Now, would she have put the same people on the library board that the outgoing mayor is? I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't know the answer to that. Okay. But I think you're right. It's probably doubtful.
Yeah.
So there's clearly some gamesmanship going on here. The bigger move, several years ago, Clay passed a property tax with the intent to use that money. I think it was $5 million.
It was $5 million.
That money would be used for a future Clay city school system or for a future Clay police department.
Okay.
And that was quite the to-do. It passed. Nothing happened. The money kind of sat in an account. Then there was an election. And an incoming member who had not been a council member when they voted to put the property tax before the people. Oh, and it had to go to a vote before the people. The people of Clay voted yes, we'll pay this property tax for schools and for police.
So somewhere between $150 to $200 per year for residents, depending on where your property tax is.
So,
which is nothing. I would just like to go out there and say that's just nothing.
But what's a lot of money?
But it's a lot of money for the city.
Yeah, it's a big chunk of money, several $1 million.
But it's not a lot per household necessarily.
No, it's small per household, but it adds up to a lot for the city. So Bo Johnson, who was not on the council when they voted to put this up for a vote, says, well, we don't have a police department, we don't have a school system, so I vote we put the money in the general fund. So long story short, Clay started using the money primarily to pave roads. And so they've used it all this time for that, but they decided, according to Mayor Webster, they were worried about garbage rates going up, and they couldn't use that money to pay for the garbage because every Clay citizen doesn't have garbage. Okay. So they'd be do something for some without doing it for the others. So they decided to rescind that $5 million property tax, so the citizens will have that money to put back in their pocket and help pay for the higher garbage rates if they're getting garbage.
But they just cut how much?
They also took a substantial amount of revenue away from the incoming administration.
Seriously, I've never seen anybody do that.
I would not say I've never seen it because I've seen just about.
I mean, I know it's been done, but I've never covered it in the city. That's really interesting.
It is an interesting situation, and I think the thing that's more interesting is if there are some fees, some taxes, a new council, if they agree with the incoming mayor, could put it back. In the case like this, I think this would have to go back to a vote of
Yeah.
the people to reinstate it.
And it's so hard to pass property tax.
It is, and it's just interesting. This is the way local politics work. It's all part of it. It really is. But it is interesting to sit back and cover it and watch it kind of unfold. But we'll see how it plays, because in a few weeks there'll be a new council. I don't know how that new council will break down in support.
Is there one more Clay meeting before Mayor Anderton takes over officially?
When did they swear in?
There could be 2 more meetings.
Could be 2 more meetings.
They start in
they
November.
swear in the first week of November.
Yeah.
And when they're sworn in, they usually have their first meeting that night.
So there's a whole month of meetings left.
Yeah, so you got at least 2 more meetings
Be
to go
interesting
down.
to see if anything else is coming down the pipe in Clay.
Not just Clay. We'll be watching all of our cities to see what happens and what goes down in the waning.
Wow, that one
waning
really
weeks.
threw me for a loop.
That was an action-packed meeting. You used the best description earlier, and from my perspective, this is what we do. We cover this stuff, so it's always interesting to our audience when these things happen.
Well, in Trussville, they not an action-packed meeting the other night, but they did decide to raise taxes on vapes sold in the city. So it's a 10-cent tax per milliliter on all vape products. So basically just making them more expensive, bringing in more tax money to it. But then Councilor Bright made a point too that part of the reason to do this is to discourage people who are not supposed to be buying them, teenagers, from buying them.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a deterrent it'll be, but I do know this. This is what city councils do.
Well, like I said, any little thing helps, for sure.
Every year, and most of our councils do this, they start looking at items that are taxable, and are you in line with other cities, and is it weird? A little more money won't encourage younger people to buy it, for sure. I don't know how much discouragement it'll be, but the city's just keeping themselves in line.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something. We had a lesson here in Trussville not long ago that you better keep it in line, because you don't know what's going to happen in Montgomery. Let me give you an example. I was going, when Trussville had the deficit, a lot of people were looking, I was one of them, at just different things we taxed, comparing it to other communities. One of the things that jumped out at me was our tobacco tax. It was absurdly low. And so I started, and I'm a smoker. Just so
you mean the states?
Cities.
The cities. Okay.
So I started looking around at other cities, and we're way lower than everybody else. So I notified the mayor and the council and said, hey, y'all might want to take a look at this. Well, absolutely, we're way out of line. Well, we're way out of line because the state froze it years ago.
Oh.
And whatever it was at that time, you were frozen in. Clearly, nobody in Trussville 10, 15, 20 years ago, whenever that was done, nobody took a look, because we were not in line with other cities.
So now we're stuck.
And now it's frozen, and that's revenue we'll leave on the table for the rest of our existence. So it's,
interesting.
Doing the housekeeping, this is boring stuff, and vape taxes don't get a lot of people riled up. But it's what good council should be doing every year, is just seeing where the city is in comparison to our neighbors.
Okay. Well, turning over to the Moody City Council meeting this week, first we want to say that we also learned through the story that Mayor Joe Lee, who is their outgoing mayor, did not run for that position again, that his wife, Mary, passed away last week. And that funeral was this week. And just our sympathies and thoughts to their family and friends and loved ones. And we were really sorry to hear that.
We think very highly of Mayor Lee. He's done a great job in Moody. Grew up in Leeds. He just hadn't strayed far from his home, and our thoughts and prayers are certainly with him and his family.
Yes, we were very sorry to hear that. But in his absence, Linda Crow led the meeting, and there was some information about this tax abatement, basically hoping to get this steel company that's looking for a southeast location in Moody that really could bring in some substantial money for the city and specifically the school system.
Yeah, it looks to be a really good business to recruit with some high quality jobs, and Moody has got really great schools, which is becoming a bigger and bigger incentive to businesses in terms of where they're going to locate, because they want that convenience of good schools for their employees.
Right.
So Moody's in there playing with some big cats. That'd be a good get. I hope it works out for them.
I do too. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then I scheduled in a little spot here for you to update people on the AHSAA saga with the school choice.
Yeah, we've come across a couple of things that I think.
But those kids are playing sports again, right?
Well,
I mean,
they're playing. We don't know. We don't know if those kids got on the field. So just to recap, with a lot of brevity here, the school choice bill, the Choose Act, passed a year ago. In the Choose Act, it says the AHSAA, calls them by name, cannot use Choose Act money for eligibility to determine eligibility of players or students. Well, the AHSAA turned right around and did that and suspended kids who accepted Choose Act money. So the legislature went through about a week of negotiations and saying, rescind it, or this is going to be a problem. Well, I'm told by people that during that week, legislators started feeling like AHSAA was going to rescind it, let them go into their meeting on a Thursday, at which point they said we were not rescinded. The mayor, the governor, and the speaker immediately filed for an injunction, which a judge awarded the governor and the speaker, and told the AHSAA, let those kids play. Mm-hmm. And that's pending a greater hearing. So they have said, yeah, okay, the judge says they can play.
Right.
And then they say
that's where you kind of left off.
And then they say to the schools, but if a judge reverses this down the road, you're going to forfeit those games. Literally blackmailing the schools to ignore the judge's order is the way I read that. I'm sure they would deny it. They have another interpretation. They told the schools, yes, the judge said the injunction is granted. There's a temporary injunction granted until there's a greater hearing. So yeah, the judge says you can play those kids, but if you do, and we win the hearing, and the injunction is lifted, the games they played in will be forfeited. Oh. So they are essentially blackmailing the schools against letting those kids. And I don't know if the kids got on the field or not. I know the legislature, that's gotten back to the legislature.
Crazy.
They're fit to be tied. They're so angry with this. Further, we have looked closer at that central board. We have one retired private school coach. I think there's a public school coach. The rest of that board is made up of assistants and superintendents and assistant superintendents, with the exception of a principal or two here and there. There is a growing feeling, all of these the Alabama Superintendents Association opposed school choice, vehemently opposed it. There are at least a couple of superintendents on this list that were very vocal in their opposition to school choice. There's a growing feeling that this group of superintendents is trying to basically circumvent the Choose Act, make families and parents who take advantage of school choice in Alabama, make them pay for that. This has done nothing but create a stronger resolve with representatives, state senators, the governor, the lieutenant governor. AHSAA, as they is operated, is not going to look the same.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do there.
It really is. And I'll tell you something else we came across yesterday. The associate executive, or the former associate executive director, I think that's the level she reached, Kim Vickers. You know, the federal courts told basically the AHSAA, there was a white organization and a black organization. And they basically told them back in the 50s or 60s, no, y'all got to come together, operate your athletic departments as one, not separately, and you have to have one minority leader and one majority leader at running that organization. So Steve Savarese, who was the leader for years and years and years, was the executive director. He resigns, he retires. Alvin Briggs moves up. He's African American, so he moved up and became director. Well, Kim Vickers was third. She was white, so she moved up and became second in command. Or should have moved up to become second in command. The board when Briggs resigned, she should have moved up to the director's role. That's kind of the historic way that's worked. Instead, the board, these group of superintendents, goes and hires Heath Harmon to replace Briggs when Briggs retired. So now they had to have a minority in Kim's place. So Kim's booted down. Heath Harmon is the one who issued the memo, by the way, about
who's currently in charge.
Who's going to be ineligible.
Okay.
Making the kids ineligible.
Okay.
So he's now in charge. He hires another guy he's from Oxford City Schools. He hires another guy from Oxford City Schools, a minority, makes him number 2. Kim Vickers has filed a lawsuit in federal court over this.
Oh.
She had to train Harmon for the job she was supposed to get. She then had to turn around and train, according to the lawsuit, the young guy hired out of Oxford. Neither Harmon or the guy from Oxford had any experience with the AHSAA.
Who sits on the board?
A bunch of superintendents.
It is superintendents. Okay.
One of them, I will tell you, was a finalist for the Trussville superintendent's job. Highly thought of, but is known to be opposed to school choice.
Okay.
Or at least that's what I've been told. I have not had that conversation with him. But there's just growing concern about the AHSAA had already gotten the attention, the undivided attention of the state legislature. They've had it for a while, but passing a rule that literally flipped the finger at the laws of Alabama, the legislature, the governor, the lieutenant governor, they have done nothing but double down on this, and they have done absolutely nothing to placate the concerns in Montgomery.
Well, that's like I said. When the session opens up, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. That's a lot.
I don't know what they're thinking. This has been one of the wildest things I've ever seen. I think, and others think, that they kind of think that judge saying you've got to have these 2 organizations 50 years ago is going to somehow protect them in the end. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. I think they are putting their eggs in the wrong basket, and I think they're going to be gone.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Yep.
Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Birmingham Heartwalk. Stay with us. Have you been to Discount Warehouse lately? New electronics, brand name makeup, and bedding arrive daily. Follow their Facebook page to find out about special sales on clothing, tools, and fireworks. Discount Warehouse, where you will never pay.
Ah, now this is the life. Who's a good boy? Well, to tell you the truth, it's my humans. They're the ones who made sure to buy me a home with natural gas. The furnace warms like no other. The fire turns on instantly. Whoa. And I'm happier than a beagle in a bacon factory. Oh, that's the spot. And with the money we save on our energy bill, well, I got big plans for that. Visit my website and learn why natural gas is a home's best friend.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we want to talk about the Birmingham Heartwalk, and to do that, we invited Beth Sewell, who's chairman of the Birmingham Heartwalk, to join us this week. Beth, thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule to talk about this event coming up on Saturday.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Well, tell people about the Birmingham Heartwalk.
So the Birmingham Heartwalk is our region for the National Organization for Children's Heart Foundation. And it's just kind of a fun day. It's a 1 mile fun walk. We'll have a magician there, a DJ, kids crafts, just fun things like that.
And it remind people where it's at.
So it's at Oak Mountain State Park, and it's from 9 to 12 on Saturday morning.
Okay. So just a good way to go out and spend the day and support the Children's Heart Foundation.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good day to, just connect and, something fun for a good cause.
How long has the Birmingham Heartwalk been around?
This is our second year.
Okay.
So the Children's Heart Foundation's been around for years, but it's just our second year here in Birmingham. And we've actually done a phenomenal job. We've been able to go from, I think we raised $14,000 last year to we're over $36,000 this year.
Oh, wow.
I was just about to ask what your anticipated goal was here.
So our original goal was 20. So we have definitely surpassed that. So it's really exciting. We've had just explosive growth for it this year.
Okay, well that's good to know.
Yes.
Well, I wanted you to share with people too, because you're from Trussville, and
Right.
so your family lives here, and I wanted to let you share with people how you got involved in this.
Yes, so my daughter, she's 18 now, but she was born with severe congenital heart defects. Basically, she had half a heart. Her one side of it didn't form. So we've been through multiple open heart surgeries and everything that entails. And so the Children's Heart Foundation is an organization that I've kind of knew has been, I've known's been there for years. They actually put out a book for parents with congenital heart defects that kind of explains, in layman's terms. And it was really fantastic for me when I was going through all of that with Maddie. And then last year, they wanted to have a walk here, and so got in contact, and it's just kind of gone from there.
Well, that's really neat. I can imagine, like you said, they're pretty supportive when it comes to helping families who
Absolutely.
come across this very unexpected diagnosis.
Yes, so their main goal is to raise money for research for congenital heart defects.
Okay.
So, and they don't have a lot of overhead, so most of the money goes to where it needs to. They're very volunteer driven, so they don't pay big salaries and things out.
Okay.
Beth, does this kind of stay in the Birmingham area? I know UAB is kind of known for their heart medicine over the years. So were you able to find the resources you need in Birmingham, and does this kind of help fund research in Birmingham for the heart disease situation?
So absolutely. So my daughter was able to have her surgery here. They had a phenomenal surgeon at the time, and they've got other phenomenal ones now, and it's moved to Children's at this time. So as far as would you ask me the resources?
Well, yeah, I was just asking.
Sorry.
Were you able to find all the resources you needed here in the Birmingham area for your daughter?
Yes. The Birmingham area has been very supportive, and like I said, between Children's and UAB, they've got fantastic care. Now, I think you asked me about the research funding,
right.
So that was the other thing. So the way the Children's Heart Foundation is set up, they have a board, and on that board, they also have physicians that specialize kind of in research, and so people will submit basically for like a grant, I guess would be, and they kind of go through those every year to figure out where the money needs to go.
Okay.
So,
Beth, any idea how many babies are born like Maddie with this congenital heart defect a year? Do they ever give you guys any kind of an idea, like number-wise?
absolutely. So 10 out of 100 babies will be born with a congenital heart defect.
Okay.
So it's really one of the most common birth defects, and it is the most common cause of infant fatality in the U.S. or anywhere for birth defects.
Okay.
So it's really prevalent. It's just not well known.
Okay.
Unless you've kind of gone through it, or you have a family member that has. It just doesn't get the awareness that it needs.
Beth, did you already live here when Maddie was born?
I did, yes. Yes,
I mean,
my husband and I both grew up here.
Okay.
That would have to be one of the few silver linings. I mean, I can just imagine the challenges of
yes.
having a child with a situation like that. I know you probably didn't sleep for months.
Oh, gosh.
Just worrying about it. But
Yes.
to have a world-renowned heart hospital in your immediate area had to be somewhat of a relief.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. They had really just kind of built it up and gotten some really great surgeons when Maddie was born, because otherwise they would have had to send us to Boston. In that, I can't imagine having a newborn and having to travel like that.
Yeah.
Everything would have escalated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think this is a great thing to bring awareness to folks about, honestly, and I'm glad we had that Trussville connection to let you kind of give people some information about the event on Saturday, for sure.
Yeah, so come out, join us. It's fun. We still need some volunteers. If you have any students that need some volunteer hours,
that's a good point.
Send them my way.
All right. There's tons of high schoolers that do.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. Well, Beth, thanks so much for joining us today and just explaining to everybody what it's about.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, we're going to take another quick break. We'll come back with the rest of the news of the day. Stay with us.
If you don't have a will, trust, or some kind of estate plan, you're leaving your loved ones with a lot of headaches. Probate fees and tax issues bring stress to your family while they grieve your loss. Cahaba Law Group is here to protect them and give you reassurance that your hard-earned money and assets are not lost to bureaucratic mayhem. They can help you create the ideal estate plan. If you're currently in probate, Cahaba Law Group can help assist you there too. Plus, they can handle more than just probate. They can serve you in just about any legal matter. Begin now by scheduling a consultation at cahabalaw.net.
I'm Drew Lawley, General Manager at Courtesy Buick GMC. Come see us at Courtesy, where we have over 300 vehicles to choose from, including GMCs, Buicks, and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at Courtesy or check us out at courtesybirmingham.com. Proud supporter of our area high school teams.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, actually, before we get to that story that we were just talking about, I do want to remind everybody that the Hewitt-Trussville High School Homecoming Parade, as long as it does not get rained out, is today at 4 o'clock. We are live streaming that event. I think we mentioned here last week that we are not going to MC the event anymore.
For the first time ever.
The first time ever that we have asked students from the Hewitt-Trussville I think they're called the Husky Broadcast Academy, are going to come in with their teacher, Chad Summers, and they are going to MC the event. And so I'm super excited about that.
Very excited.
But I also wanted to go ahead and thank our sponsors, because we can't put on the live stream without sponsors, and we always have an amazing list that come.
Right.
A lot of times they're the same sponsors, but there's some new ones here this year too. So I'm going to read them out and give them some attention on the show as well as through the live stream. So we've got A+ Tire and Auto, Abide Roofing, Barnett Furniture, Danny Garrett, Dobbs Ford, Emergency Pet Care, Jefferson Memorial. Is it Me Tierra Linda?
Me Tierra Linda, huh?
My Wellness, Nelms Pharmacy, Robbins Sewing Shop, and Trinity Contractors all came on to be our sponsor for the event this year.
Appreciate them, because we can't do it without them.
No.
And this is, we're both excited about this.
Yes, we are.
We've wanted, and I know that Erica and I were on the advisory board for the Clay Chalkville broadcast journalism team for years, and then their teacher changed, and we don't know the new teacher, but I was excited when Trussville started this. We were seeing kids at Clay Chalkville that we could have hired coming out of high school because they were learning so much. I'm hearing great things about what Chad is doing with the Trussville kids.
Well, we're going to partner with them on some other things and share some of their stories.
A lot of opportunities.
Absolutely.
If we sit down, and I promise you, we'll go to lunch with Chad, and we'll walk away from lunch with probably 15 ideas of how we can interact with those kids. This is a growing industry. I think this is the future of local journalism. I really do. And I think some of these kids could come out, start their own thing, and be ahead of the curve. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We stuck our toe in the water. We had Sarah Marie was a senior last year at Hewitt.
That's right.
And I backed out.
You did. You pulled out.
And she came in and MC'd with you. I thought y'all were great, and she seemed very comfortable with it. So I expect even more out of these kids.
I know. I'm excited for them for sure. So hopefully it doesn't get rained out today.
Yeah.
Okay. if you live in St. Clair County, so I like to kind of bring some attention to stories. We partner with CBS 42, you probably heard us say, and they had a story this week that we also shared on our website, that if you live in St. Clair County and you have a storm shelter, and I think it's Jefferson County too, but St. Clair County is specifically asking for people who have storm shelters to register. And the reason you want to register it is because if there's a really bad storm and you're in your shelter, nobody knows to come looking for you. You can be trapped if it's not registered.
That's a good thought. Because they're supposed to build them so doors open in for that very reason.
Right.
But things could happen.
Yes.
Stuff gets blown around.
Yes.
Could happen. I told you, half jokingly, I wouldn't register. I wouldn't want my neighbors to know I got a shelter. In reality, all my neighbors would know because I would want them to come over and be safe.
And you would want somebody to help you out of there.
Absolutely. And certainly under a tornado, because what does the warning last? 12, 13 minutes, it's over. However, I would not want my neighbors to know I had a shelter if we had a nuclear bomb. Because then you're talking long term, you may not be able to come out for 36 days. You've got limited food, right?
So each to their own there.
Limited food. I don't know.
That's funny. So if you do have a shelter, you live in St. Clair County, they're asking you to reach out to the county and register that shelter, ultimately for your safety.
Yes.
So, okay. So last week we talked about Hewitt-Trussville High School being chosen as a semi-quincentennial school for next year's 250-year celebration of America. And now Moody Elementary is also one of those schools. And so they're going to get to experience the same thing with just different things built into their curriculum as they participate in this program. And so we had mentioned that about Hewitt, so I definitely wanted to mention it about Moody Elementary, because that will be fun for them.
It is. I was a kid when America celebrated its bicentennial.
Mm-hmm.
You don't remember that. I think you were born. Maybe were you about 2 years old at that time?
No, I was. in that 1976.
76.
That's when I was born.
Okay. So
I told you that last week. I'm a bicentennial baby.
Well, I was a 15-year-old kid and old enough to remember
That's right.
It was a really big deal. It was incorporated into everything that went on that year, and it was kind of a wonderful moment on 4th of July to celebrate 200 years and kind of reminded you of how young America really is.
I know. I thought that too. I was like, that's really not that old.
Country, which makes me even more proud of all the things this country has accomplished in such a short time.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Okay, let's turn our attention to Leeds schools. So, earlier we had mentioned that Leeds City School Superintendent John Moore is the son of the new mayor, Eddie Moore, but he was at the chamber luncheon this month, the Leeds chamber, and got to give people an update on the school district. And I'm not sure, or maybe we haven't covered it before, but I appreciated seeing this information. We put this out about other schools who share it like this. But he was talking about just some improvements they've had. They have a 95% graduation rate for the district, and they've had a dramatic increase, and Trussville comes here and talks about this all the time, advanced placement success. So they had 144 AP exams passed in Leeds this past year compared to 45 in 2017. So they've made a pretty big jump pushing those classes to those students and are seeing that pass rate go up. Yeah. And so I wanted to mention that specifically for them because we know how important it is because, Trussville Superintendent Dr. Martin and Mr. King have talked about that so many times on our shows, just challenging those students to take these classes and take those AP exams, helping prepare them for college. And when you pass, you get college credit.
You get college credit, and as a parent that has a college freshman, that's going to be about a year's worth of school.
I mean, it's incredible.
That's 2 semesters of tuition. That's substantial.
It is substantial.
But parents, as a parent who went through it, let me tell you, I'll just be upfront with you. It's a challenge. It is tough.
It is.
AP classes are nothing to sneeze at. Your child has to be committed and dedicated to do it. But here's the thing. Even if they don't get college credit, if they don't score that 3 or 4 and get college credit for it, I promise you going through the process of taking AP classes will have your kids so much better prepared for college that there's really no comparison. It is worth it. It's one of those deals where the results don't matter to me. The results don't matter nearly as much as the process. So I'm going to just tell you, tears, wailing, and gnashing of teeth because Sarah struggled on some of those classes, and Mom and Daddy weren't that great a help, and Mama's a school teacher, and it was tough. It was hard. It was a college-level class. But, man, she will tell you she'd do it all over again.
And it's not regurgitating information. Like Oliver sat in the car yesterday and said about a test, he's like, so much, these were his words, so much application. Like he, as a freshman, is seeing that turn between just learning information and apply it.
That's it.
And it's a transition for sure.
We're seeing our schools across our area that are focusing on this. It's paid off at Hewitt. It's going to pay off at Moody. I'm excited to see Moody doing that, and those are outstanding results. Leeds already showing great results there.
Also in Leeds, and this happened earlier in the month, but I wanted to mention it since we haven't, but they completed their library renovations, which we had reported that they were doing that, and so those were completed and they're open. They had a ribbon cutting for it, and so that was just more good news about Leeds that I wanted to put out there for people, especially the people who love the library. So, because we did have a gentleman here for the forums for Leeds who ran for the mayor who was not a big fan of the library. Right. So maybe he will enjoy it more.
And we are fans of the library. We kind of think it's in our best interest to develop strong readers.
Oh, that's funny. So anyway, I'm glad about that for Leeds too. What else did I want to talk about today? Oh, some upcoming events. We'd like to tell you about the upcoming events. You may have seen the signs around Trussville, but also the Trussville Public Library has an annual fundraiser called the Bookin' It 5K. That's coming up on October 11th, and so obviously that is a 5K in the downtown area of Trussville.
A 5K in Trussville?
I know. Imagine, it's wild, isn't it?
Is it a weekend?
It's a weekend. It's a Saturday morning, and so those are very popular here, and this is a very good place to run a 5K, which is why they're popular down here. But if you want to register for that one, you can do that. So that's open now.
We should
we have links to do that in the story.
We should pass a 5-cent tax on 5K runners. We would clear city debt in 1 year.
Bummer. You're a bummer. That would not be fun. So anyway, if you want to do that on October 11th, look out for that. And then also another fun event to tell you about is the Springville. This is coming up on October 4th. So the Big Canoe Creek Nature Preserve is partnering with local conservation groups to host the, I hope I'm saying this right.
You are.
The Tri-Spot Darter Festival. So what is the Tri-Spot Darter, you ask? And I wish I had realized this and we would have asked their incoming mayor about it. But it is an endangered fish that is in the water at Big Canoe Creek. And so anyway, it's a fundraiser for the nature preserve. But the Tri-Spot Darter fish, which once I read about it, I'd heard it talked about. And so anyway, it's a whole event coming up from 5 to 9 on October 4th. Actually sounds really fun. It's a festival with live music and a lot of different bands and all kind of good fun stuff to raise money for the Natural Resources Conservation Services.
Can I make a prediction?
Yes.
Eventually, the Tri-Spot Darter
will be like don't say it, will be the Springville mascot.
No.
They'll be the Darters.
No.
Oh, okay.
It will be the subject of a lawsuit from the Southern Environmental Law Center. Just give it time.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't have anticipated you saying that.
That's why they exist. It's coming.
Okay. Well, the Tri-Spot.
The Darters have been very, very good to the nonprofits.
You're sure it's not pronounced like Trispo or Trispit or
Tri-Spot. Usually the simple answer is the right answer.
Okay, we're going to hope so.
I think it's Tri-Spot.
All right, that's a lot of stuff today.
It is.
Again, join us if you are in Trussville.
Hey, did you mention the entertainment at that festival?
I just said they were having live bands, but you can announce
them.
Okay,
but they've got Grassy Fork, Highway 11 Band,
Yep.
Love Rap. which will surprise people that I'm actually familiar with them.
I know, we've talked about them here before.
Love Rat was a finalist for Best Local Band in the Reader's Choice competition a couple of 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Sure
Don't
were.
forget to
So
vote for your Reader's
some local
Choice.
connections there.
Nominate your favorite.
Oh yeah,
names.
Readers, listen y'all, nomination phase ends October 30th, no, September 30th. So
that's next week.
You got 5 more days for nominations. They are going well. We are seeing some new names, but remember, everything from the best pizza to the best park to the best doctor, best lawyer, best accountant. A lot of people in our area use this list as a reference list because this is a great information crowdsourcing. So the more of you that participate, the better. And the literally hundreds of you that have already been voting, thank you. Keep going, keep nominating, and we'll be announcing the finals in about a week and a half or so.
All right. Okie dokie. All right, well, that's all we've got for today. We'll be back this afternoon.
And if the weather changes the parade, we'll announce that on social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. See you next time.
Hey y'all, it's Dobbs Ford.
Your hometown dealership.
We're bringing you family-type atmosphere with the best customer service and the best buying experience around.
So visit us online at holdoffsfordbirmingham.com or make that fast drive to 9924 Parkway East. Come see and feel the difference.
If you don't have a will, trust, or some kind of estate plan, you're leaving your loved ones with a lot of headaches. Probate fees and tax issues bring stress to your family while they grieve your loss. Cahaba Law Group is here to protect them and give you reassurance that your hard-earned money and assets are not lost to bureaucratic mayhem. They can help you create the ideal estate plan. If you're currently in probate, Cahaba Law Group can help assist you there too. Plus, they can handle more than just probate. They can serve you in just about any legal matter. Begin now by scheduling a consultation at cahabalaw.net.
I'm Drew Lawley, General Manager at Courtesy Buick GMC. Come see us at Courtesy, where we have over 300 vehicles to choose from, including GMCs, Buicks, and certified pre-owned vehicles. Come see us at Courtesy or check us out at courtesybirmingham.com. Proud supporter of our area high school teams.